Entering his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. He began to feel sick from the shock, and even thought he might pass out when he suddenly noticed a keypad next to the filing cabinet in the corner of his boss's office. Stanley had never seen this panel before and had no idea what combination of numbers would produce any result. In fact, only Stanley's boss knew this, since he had assigned it a secret combination that only he could possibly know. The number of his high school sweetheart's address, 2845. But of course Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. 2845. Oh, for God's... But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell on with the story. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing! He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. There was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? The answer, the terrible secret he would soon discover, lay buried in the depths of the underground complex he now entered. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large doors that read, Mind Control Facility. But whose mind was being controlled? What purpose could a mind control facility have down here? These questions raced in Stanley's head until the lights turned on and the panel beneath his feet began to move, at last revealing the truth of the situation. Walls full of monitors, each bearing the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. Even his own number, 427, had a place on the wall, and the reality began to sink in. Stanley, like so many other people, reduced to images on a screen, had been under someone's control. Could this have been the only reason employee 427 was content with his boring job? That his emotions had been altered to accept it blindly? Did any of these people deserve to be commanded about like puppets? Stanley wouldn't have it. He couldn't accept it. And so when he came to the lift, he travelled up to the source of the room's power.